Hello my dear ones, and I'm just going to do a little short video today. This is Friday and unfortunately I hasn't been able to come here and do more videos for you, so I apologize with that. But you know that when you're suffering you get help, and I think there's plenty of us out there now that are helping others. Pretty cool stuff, and the results that you're getting, I've said this before, sometimes this isn't an easy path because you're walking backwards. You're walking backwards in time. If you had trauma of any sort, like a car accident or any type of injury, as people are so acidic, these injuries really never heal. And so if you look at it, some of your injuries, there's a little bit of a subconscious energy that you have focused on that. And when you go through this, you'll find that that area that you had trauma to could get painful, just like you had the accident all over again. And then it goes away. And that area just somehow feels stronger, like the weaknesses was taken out of that area and strengthened up. And then you feel a release here in your mind about that you didn't even know you had there. So how interesting is it that our mind has so many of these little ball and chains hooked on so many things that one is unaware of? Interesting stuff. So vast are the worlds of God. Who knows, you know what I mean? Oh, I wanted to know if Dr. Morse has ever discussed on YouTube the comment from people, we're all going to die sometime. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Organic produce is waxed also. Yeah. But I'll tell you this. If I had to choose wax or pesticides, I'll take wax. I mean, I'm just saying, the sad thing, it's like I've been probably a couple of months here starving. The bananas are so-so, the grapes are so-so, the blueberries are bitter, the blackberries are bitter. It's like, what? Sad stuff. Photos were taken after using produce cleaner full strength. How sad. Let's take a look. Yeah, I know. I tell you what, it's sad, sad, sad. You know why? Because man hasn't learned that his food source is his health or his dis-ease. One of the two. You know, it's sad that we have a huge modality as such that ignores the chemistry and ignores the very fact of types of foods, chemistry of foods, and that reaction in the body. And it's obvious. And it's obvious because when you change your diet, all those things go away. Funny stuff. Okay, this is the photo he sent. Yeah. Oh yeah, well you're on an apple here. Looks like. Maybe not. No, you can see the wax, absolutely. The sad thing also is the level of rads that they radiate this food at. You wouldn't radiate a human even close to these rads. What is it they're saying, 150 rads or something? I don't know. 150,000 rads, I mean. It's like, what? Common x-ray is just under 1 rad. And so I remember a lady coming in. She had fairly large breasts, a little dense, of course, and they because it was so dense with fibrocystic stuff, they took 7 shots, 7 views, and that was enough to burn her cells and flip them into cancer cells. So that's 7 rads. Now, when you look at CAT scans that are non-digital, you're what, 250 rads? I mean, it's insane. And some of these individuals, that poor little one we showed you the last video, just lots of that little girl, how many x-rays and CAT scans and MRIs that she had. One was that part of the heart wasn't developed. You know, I think you're going to see a lot of this, guys. And I think you are the beautiful key to wake up this planet. Because, as far as I can tell in my 45 years doing this, you guys are the only ones that are awake enough and know enough to fix people. And this is particularly true in your knowledge of the lymphatic system and the kidney connection. It don't matter what medical doctors think about it. You can have a medical doctor telling you right in your face that you don't know what you're talking about, and you need to go, you know what? You're not taking my power. You don't know what you're talking about. See, because you have proof. You have evidence, and I love evidence. And we got tons of it. I made sure of that through all these years that we've had so much evidence that going to hurt going down the throat of some people. But we're all going to die sometime. These are comments by souls that are still on journeys that have no, they're not ready to wake yet. It's not a negative thing. It's just that these individuals don't care. They're having fun eating the way they're eating and enjoying their life. They don't have any self-awakening yet. The journey to God is always marked with self-awareness first. Self-realization, self-awareness. This is always in the concepts and understanding of spirituality. That as you develop, you reach self-realization first. Meaning that you see yourself and everything else is coming from the same source. It's not something you learn. It is something that it is. It's just when you have that cosmic consciousness experience, that's the experience. It's nirvanic, it's ecstasy, because now you see all life is tied together and you expand like unbelievable. And it gives you, it's just the way it is. Life is that. So when you get to that level, it's unbelievable. But that's only the first step. So those that say these things like that, they're just not ready. And if they're not ready, okay, don't waste your time. But if you want to use them as practice material, you could use them as practice material, play a little bit and, hone your skills on your dialectics, on your ability to converse, like a Pythagorean or Socratean type of thing, and you're playing. I don't know. You got to learn where that karma might stop and start doing that, but sometimes it's fun to take someone on a journey of thought and awareness, just down a road of awakening, But play with that and have fun with that, because you're developing, each and one of you are developing your skills to be the light and to give the light to others. The health part of it is just the first stage of it, to give you a good doorway into your greater self and your greater ability to help others from a much higher level. Oh yeah. So all these type of people you run into like this is homing you. It's a way that it pulls you back from too much excitement, and wanting everybody to learn and grow and get healthy and stuff like that. Everybody doesn't want it. So it's like, okay, you can't get upset with that, because everyone is on a different level in their journey. Some souls just got here, talk to plenty of those. If you get out of the body, you'll talk to many inhabitants of other worlds that have never ever been to this level yet. So, but anyway, it's like you have to kind of, give them love and go, sad. But the thing is, every time you talk and converse with someone and expose the truth to them, remember, you're talking to a soul. You're not, when you're talking to your little baby, let's say you just gave birth and you brought your infant home from the hospital. Let me tell you, that isn't an infant. That body might be a little bitty, and that mind needs to correlate and everything else, but I want to tell you, that is not a little being, not in today's world. You might have a soul that's never been at this level yet. That'd be a rowdy one too. Those are the kids that really, they just don't take discipline well. They don't listen. I'm familiar with that. But there are those that now coming in that are very awake, and you're seeing a lot of them. A lot of you moms and dads, especially in this field, you're going to have those higher souls because they need this level of energy and this level of health to be able to articulate their journey here. Because you don't want to bring them back down. They're here to get their higher levels to finish up here. And you'll see those that are finishing up. They're detaching themselves. They don't care anymore. They're letting go. And you can't judge them because they're getting themselves free. You got to get yourself free. Because if you don't, you're in a world of untruthfulness and so much corruption and so much hate and so much stuff. It's just disgusting. Wow, what's this? See, what an amazing gift you're. Oh, thanks. I started the fruit diet about 3 months ago. I'm 34-year-old female. I've been working night shifts. Oh, I hate night shifts. On and off for 10 years. Holy crap, honey. Since you were 24? Wow. I'm constantly tired and have a low mood and been feeling so for many years. I just, I've done a lot of night shifts. And I've done a lot of, most of you nurses know that hospitals tend to understaff. So the overtime is plentiful. You can work double shifts all the time, but plenty of time to work double shifts. Depends on your shift, 8 or 12 or whatever. I've done 40-hour shifts. ER docs do 40-hour shifts and stuff. It's like, no. You you got toothpicks. It's horrible. And being away from the sun like that and sleeping in the daytime, I just think that on top of having maybe weak adrenals, because that's be mood, the adrenals would be your anxieties and your shynesses and your kind of your reservedness. Your thyroid, parathyroid is going to be depressions and unhappiness, and you don't like yourself and stuff like that. So when you have these weaknesses, these tend to be some of the symptoms from that. It can definitely affect your emotional states and mental states, no question about it. She's sleeping 10 to 12 hours daily, but still tired. It sounds like adrenals and thyroid. Just can't get your rest back. Check your blood pressures, and see what they are, and take a look at your eyes, see where your adrenals are. But I'm sure you're dealing with it. Been over emotional for all my life. Adrenals. That's your fatigue. That's your weight. A lot of people blame the thyroid for weight, and it's like the adrenals are worse. Those sugar metabolism. You don't metabolize sugars. What are the sugars converted into? Glycogen. Fat. Been over. Had some bad depressions as well. All right. So now we're into adrenal glands. The depression now is pulling you up to here, parathyroid and thyroid. Now, here's a big question on top of this, guys. Is this lady short or tall? Or just perfect, who knows? But if she's short or tall, that would pull your attention up to her pituitary, shutting down or affecting the thyroid, parathyroid, and then down to the adrenals. Now, you can have the thyroid and parathyroid weak, absolutely, genetically, and have the pituitary down genetically. Absolutely, you can. Any mix is up for grabs. That would be the worst case scenario, because that would mean your endos individually would be weak, and then the pituitary, which controls them, would be sitting down on them and suppressing their function or hyperstimulating their function, either one. Occasional migraines, painful periods. Yeah, you know what? I'm up at the thyroid, parathyroid gland here, pituitary gland here, absolutely, with all this burping after all foods, even after just water. So yeah, you want to take a look at that. I would be interested in looking at pancreatic, probably over gallbladder. But get a picture of your eye. That's, this is where you really get to see what's really up. Are we talking about pancreas, gallbladder? Do you have high level sulfur in the gut? That sulfur can create a lot of burping and belching and gas and bloating, and then of course extreme fungal problems. So, and a lot of people are full of fungus. So this is the beauty of iridology. You can see your own body and others, and you can see what's wrong with the colon. Oh, I've had a pain down here for years. Well, that's your lower descending bowel, and look, right there's the spot you're having pain with. That's the beauty of it. But if you didn't have anything to diagnose yourself with anything, can you still fix yourself? Well, of course. You don't have to have a name on anything. You just get yourself on raw foods, get yourself on herbs, because we're not after diseases. That's insanity. That's the biggest shame the medical doctors have ever created. So it's not about that. So everything literally can be turned around if you turn around your lifestyle. Remember, who starts this out for you? Mom and Dad, and Mom in particular. Why? Lymphatics. Your lymph system and blood systems are hooked right to her. So if she's not filtering lymphatically, guess who ain't either? That explains why you see tumors in infants. It helps you to understand why you see what you see out there. With the medical thinking, you don't understand any of it. And that's too bad, because not understanding at the level that children are at right now, and tumors in the eyes and brains and everything, not a good combination, because they don't know anything but to go after it with chemo. They're steadfast in the ignorant side, academically up there, but remember, sometimes that brings a world of ignorance. And so this is a sad combination. This is why it is so vital that we get out there and we establish ourselves as a vital modality and start saving these children and show the world just what health is all about. And you guys are doing it. Frequent urination. Okay, so, here we go. Now, whenever someone's giving us all their symptoms, you can always go to the kidneys and adrenals. Always. Why? Because they are the main. Now we can go to the skin too, and if your thyroid is down, your skin is down. If your adrenals are down, your kidneys are down. Well, when your skin and kidneys are down, they're the eliminative organs of metabolitic or cellular waste, which are acids. So, the retention of acids creates what? Acidosis. And so what's the body's response to acidosis? Inflammation. When it's on the outside of a cell, when it's interstitial around the cell, in the lymph fluids, in the sewer fluids. When the sewer fluids back up, acidosis interstitially, you see the inflammatory response and all this stuff. Get acids in a cell that can't get out, and then you know what happens with that. They call that a cancer cell. But frequent urination would take me right down. She has low libido, so I'm at the glands. You have low endocrine gland function. That's why you have low libido. The kidneys are down, frequent urination. Both progesterone and estrogen much lower than a norm. So you're going to where for that one? That's your answer right there. You go to the adrenals. That's your estrogen. That's going to be more systemic estrogen. Ovarian estrogen, I've always said this, is uterine estrogen, not systemic estrogen. In your adrenal, fat cell, and liver estrogens are for your systemic issues. And so this all kind of fits in there, honey, because you're low energy, you're tired all the time, you can't seem to rest and get that back. And I submit to you, you've got at least two things hitting both of those, particularly the adrenals, number one, thyroid, number two. But then there's parathyroid here involved, and I'm just telling you, with so much endos involved, I got to pull myself up and say, is that pituitary, are you okay up there? So you have to think about these things. How do you get up here? Upper circulations? Absolutely. Brain and nerve formulas? Absolutely. They're for neurons. So all of this is neurons. So it's like, hey, all right. So it starts to pick up the weaknesses. Remember, herbs have all their bodies to them like you do. That why would God create an herb that's useful for the human body if it wasn't meant to be used by the human body to fix it? When you get away from that in the medical world, it's kind of sad when you get into pharmaceutical jargon and the death rates and the maiming that pharmaceuticals do, and what the use of antibiotics has actually done to the human race on the negative side. Well, look at this. All right. So, some spider veins. Where are we at? Connective tissue parathyroid? Yep. All right. Hands down. Bruises easy. Petechia. Heck yeah, honey. You got parathyroid. Oh, yeah. No. You want to stop this? She's got cellulite, she says, and blemishes. Bruises easy. Nah, you don't want that. That's the next door to aneurysms, and that's connective tissue, so that can be herniations and aneurysms and all the stuff you don't want to hear about. So, and that's depression and things. So you want to tone and tighten, but you want to go through that parathyroid. All your endos sound like they're down. I'm going to say that you're probably going to work on your pituitary here. Both progesterone and estrogen, okay, no motivation, thinking constantly, brain fog, can't relax, can't handle any stress, irritable. That's your endos. It's all your endocrine glands, honey. So, to turn things on, you want to turn things on, you generally go over to the wall switch and flip a switch, right? That's the electrical department. So why would we think any less of our foods? And when we look at our foods must be electrical. When you're eating cooked dead foods and your adrenals and thyroids and everything is down, how do you get to feel better? What are you doing to make yourself feel better? Nothing. Because you remember the law of homeostasis. So you're eating foods that are magnetically much lower than you are. You know, cooked vegetables are probably around 1,000 angstroms. When you look at the human being at 5,500, you probably have a lot of acidosis and deterioration in you. So you need about 6,500 angstroms of a human body radiating energy to be halfway smiling. So when you eat cooked food that's down about 1,000, you see what happens? A law. Remember spinning a wheel at 100 mile an hour and spinning a wheel here at 10 mile an hour? I put them together. They'll each start spinning the same law of homeostasis, but the fast one slows down and the slow one speeds up until they can find that harmonious balance. So the first thing off is change your diet to living electrical foods. Vegetables take so much digestive energy for humans because we don't have the digestive tracts and stomachs of herbivores that fruit is our electricity. Fruits, berries, and melons. So that's why we push that. They're electrical. But electrical, remember quantum physics. Energy has intelligence. Ho, ho, ho. So when you're eating food, you're eating intelligence. Did you destroy that intelligence before you ate it? In others, pick and eat. Now you're eating that thing vibrating, has the consciousness, the karma for you, because that's why it's here. Its mission is for you. It's here to love you. And man's got to get with that. Man's got to taste that spiritual side of life. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. It makes me have love for everybody. It makes me understand more about the ups and downs of life. But right off, you can see this poor soul dealing with a lot of endocrine gland problems, brain fog. So upper circuit, brain, and nerve would be my focus. Then I'm after the kidneys, the adrenals. I'm after the lymphatic system. I'm after the GI tract. Did I miss anything? I'm going to kill a few worms, but if you do have a lot of fungus causing this burping and stuff, a lot of sulfurs and stuff, the chances of you having high fungal problems is up. So you want to know, that's why we have Parasite M and Parasite G in the first kit. It really wouldn't hurt to do that first kit twice, because if you see anything that looks like a parasite, you want to go back to Parasite G and do like 4 capsules 3 or 4 times a day. You want to go after that. What was her name? I always can't remember her name. She died not too many years ago. Not Hilda Clark, but Hannah Kroger. And she had, I think I took 20 wormwood capsules at a time with her program. No more thinking, okay, and all that. Haven't worked for a while because I'm so tired, can't concentrate and overthinking everything. Often feel cold, but just a fast walk makes me sweat. Interesting. Your endos are down, honey. Your endocrine glands. So you want to hook yourself up to the living. So get yourself on a living food diet. Let's see. My blood pressure was around 110/75 for a long time and changed to constant 120/80 just a week ago. Heart rate 62. I'm adding iris pictures just in case it will help. Oh, this is good. All right, so blood pressure. That's one arm. Do both arms. All right, so what are we doing when you're checking your blood pressure? Most nurses don't even know that. What are you doing when you're checking your blood pressure? What are you looking at? So the upper blood pressure number, systolic, cardiac punch, that's neurotransmitter production out of the adrenals. You're at 110. That's low. You need 120. Well, you're 120, but the bottom's 80. And the bottom is your kidneys. Your kidneys need to be 60. So when your pressure in your kidneys is going up, so is your adrenal pressure. So that 110, so if I went and say, okay, 80's 20 points too high. Medical doctors love this blood pressure for years. 80's way too high. So when you move that down to 60, you fix your kidneys, what's going to happen to that 120, do you think? Yeah, it's going to drop. And when you start detoxing, you're going to go, God, I feel so tired on this detox. What is it? You're having living food, power herbs, power foods, but you're feeling more tired. What is that? That's your adrenal glands. And even though you're doing all these things, your body's taking it down to its genetic past. It's cleaning out its consciousness. You just have to see what God does, how it does its things. So you've got low blood pressure. You're about 100 over, if you ask me. Or maybe in the upper 90s. That is snoozeville. Snoozeville. What could I do to be full of energy and have a bright thinking? How could I improve my genes and intuition? I'm Libra. Being unable to choose or decide is draining me and often gives me headaches. Well, you might have a Libran influence. But my dear one, you're a powerful being come out of the heart of God. So where's your power? You don't want to give it to the Libran. That's only the influence of the magnetics on your bodies. Your consciousness is who you are. Reclaim that. How can people reclaim their health by working nights? Good question. Take a lot of fruit. Eat fruit in the day, eat fruit at night. That's your meals through the night. That's the only thing I would eat at night, would be fruit. Absolutely. That'd be the only way. Then go after your endocrine glands. You know, I would use the herbs, glandulars. These are the two things we go after. Get yourself on a program here because you got some endos down here. Also, I understood you prefer not to use pituitary glandular anymore. Could I please ask why? I'm not opposed to it, especially if you saw a real chronic pituitary in the eye. But the glandulars really work. And I've had a lot of cases where I put them on the pituitary glandular, and then their blood work came back with some of the hormones just shooting the roof. So then and they're asymptomatic. They for some reason, it's not kicking up the respective glands. It's just affecting the factors for some reason. So we take them off of that, and then everything goes back to normal, and everything's good. And so I just wanted to avoid that big boom. Because you don't have to hit that little pituitary with too much. I would think 10 milligrams of a glandular would be all you'd need for that gland. Let's say 110 3 times a day. But I like the herbs. The herbs are plenty well on the pituitary. It's not difficult to bump the pituitary gland. Now the parathyroids, I'm going to use the glandulars, absolutely, because I don't know the herbs that affect, and that's skeletal, connective tissue, happiness. Depression, fingernails, spider veins, bruising. Can I please ask your thoughts on how to address a birth trauma when I'm already an adult? Well, there was a book called Primal Scream. It's about 50 years ago, I think, when that book came out. Woo-wee! That was a book. Well, all I can say, dear one, start working on your spiritual side. And working on your spiritual side, and I know you're busy with constantly thinking, and that's what you have to work on, is pulling back and becoming the observer. Try to shift your attention from your looking at your thoughts to just looking, without thought. Develop that. Work on that. Just like you're developing a muscle. And work on your ability to be in the present moment, which is a position of observation, not a position of thought. And when you develop yourself with this and keep developing yourself, you will develop the ability to talk to your mind and let your mind on the outside of your consciousness do its thing. Bring you back the information you want, put it to work, but don't follow it. Don't need to follow it. And following it is using your attention. Your attention is how you move yourself. How you look, where you look, your attention. Whether you're in meditate, don't matter which world you're looking in. Your attention is you. That's everything. That's how you move yourself around. And you're always daydreaming. People always daydreaming, moving their attention from one thing to another thing. If you wanted to bite on truth at its highest levels, then you've got to detach yourself from creation, which is duality. Because that is the many, or the dualistic, where you're talking about God the One. So you must pull away from thought and the activity of days of our lives and get into observation. And after observation, there's a point in observation where you don't have to really look at something. You can observe the energy of things, and you don't have to get too lost in your attention. So what I'm getting at is, as you pull into these levels, all this emotional crap, all this karma that you've had, it's still registered in the Akashic records. But you don't have to play the game and identify with it. You've now developed your higher awareness, and the lower awarenesses of the emotions and the mind you have control over. And if there's any obstruction in that effect or that birthing, that'll come out as a healing crisis, guaranteed. So it's like rebirthing or the primal scream. I think the youngin' people have some therapies to go back and release some of that. The youngin' people, young Carl Jung. I was born as a blue baby with a cord around my neck and then separated from mom for a week. Emotionally, I often feel empty and abandoned for no reason. Well, that's why I submit to you to turn to your spiritual side, because at your age, you don't need your mother or your daddy or anybody here physically. What you need is yourself. Because you're the one surviving the journey. They just made a body for you. So you want to get to that which you constantly have and you can't get rid of. And that's yourself. You can't get rid of yourself even if you killed your bodies. That won't do it. You can't kill consciousness or awareness. How can I enjoy life more? Been several years when nothing feels exciting. You go after your glands, you go after yourself, you start loving yourself, you spend time alone with yourself, and you start going, I'm okay, you're okay. That sort of thing. And at the same time, you now have a bigger purpose, because now you're absorbing, when you release your attention on things, now you're absorbing into the all of things. Now your emotions become strong. You become strong, because that's the power. That's who is powering your world, is you. Your attention is your power. If you don't like something in your world, quit giving it power. Anything you put your attention on, you're giving it power. Not smart. I've been taking lots of herbal formulas for about 3 months. GI Broom, kidney and bladder, good deal. Lymphatic, endocrine, adrenals, good deal. Brain and upper circuit, you got it right on then. Bone marrow, interesting. Licorice, stop licorice now. Blood pressure going up. Glandulars for 1 month. Kitty, you're doing good. Could you please advise me if it's too many? I think you're doing beautiful. Lots of love and hugs. Hold on. All right, let's look at the right side. All right. Now let's look at the left eye. Now look at all this down in here. The same thing on the right one, but right down in here is what? Kidneys. Now look at this other thing. Now, remember, what's white? What's all this white in a blue eye? That's acute lymph stagnation. What's the yellow? Subacute lymph stagnation. Notice in what they call the autonomic nerve wreath, which is not true in my opinion, but notice that is the bowel wall. That's your intestinal walls. And this rope, this yellowish rope you see, right, is lymph stagnation interstitially in the intestinal walls. That's where you get IBS, Crohn's, UC, ulcerative colitis. It's just acids building up and chewing back. And that is major malabsorption. You've got a lot of malabsorption going on here, my dear. I'll say just real quick. This is what I see in her, all right? She has major malabsorption. She had prolapses of the transverse bowel. She has a ballooning of the ascending colon right at about the lower chest area or near the right arm. She has a hip that's is getting in trouble here on the right side, a groin to match. A real big weakness in the groin. The whole right leg is weak, particularly around the knee, going up to the upper femur that fits into the leg. The kidneys in a chronic, and you want to work on this kidney, honey. You're getting a little darkness in that kidney, and that's not good. So you got serious kidney issues going on here. Go after them. Your adrenals in a subacute state. You have some nerve rings, which gives you a minor chronic weakness in that. Uterine, a little bit of bladder weakness. Upper neck a little bit, lower back a little bit, that sort of way. I'll say the pancreas doesn't look too bad, the gallbladder, liver, just clean those out a little bit. Left side, lot of sinus, head congestion, no question. Got to drain the head, and the bowels are blocking it for you. This is going to give you pressure and everything else in that. Left eye, let me see here. Frontal lobe weakness. Okay, so here, left chest wall, left breast. Be careful. Left breast not looking good here. Left chest wall very weak. Also affecting the spleen, I think. Left hip could have, you've got a little groin on both sides. A lot of groin both sides, but here's a hip starting to go for you. It's a little bit of a chronic hip genetically. The leg is weak. The kidney, both kidneys are down, honey. The legs are down. The groins are down, and the hips. You want to get going with that. You got a weak throat on the left side, so you could have a sore throat. The thyroid is a little weak on that side, and the upper neck is weak on that side. All right. I love iridology, don't you guys? It's good stuff. All right, I got to go do a meeting here real quick, and I'll do that, and I'll come right back, and we'll keep going here for a little while. Be right back. There we go. Took care of that situation. Not really. California's been trying to shut down herb companies for using like traditional uses and stuff like that on the herbs. So they've been after us, Napa Valley. Prosecutors a piece of crap. I mean, they're all a piece of crap out there. Some of these prosecutors out there that have nothing to do till their family gets cancer or something. Then they'll see. It's just always a fight here on this plane. Always a fight, and it's just sad stuff out there, you know. Anyway, let's see what this next one is. Hello, Dr. Morse. I love your YouTube presentations. Thank you. Here is my dilemma. I have the book. You got the book? You know, people travel and fight and work their way up to get that book. Which book you talking about? We Want to Live. Oh, great book. Says that eating fruit will cleanse the body, but eating fruit only will cause bones, teeth, nerves, and tissue to deteriorate. Also, people on fruit diets only lack focus and clarity and are excessively emotional, and how would you respond to that? Disagree. Thank you. Please respond, as I love your work and passion for good health. I disagree with that person totally. Totally. Look at some of you guys on fruit for a number of years. I was on fruit for a lot of years. My bones didn't go down. Nothing went down. My teeth didn't go. Nothing went down. The electricity. Fruit is nerve food. So the claims he's making is idiocy, because fruit and berries are nerve foods. The one thing it does bring is calm, peace, awareness. It gives us all that. I've been watching you guys and watching people that go on these fruit diets, and it quiets the mind. It brings about awareness. These are our foods. So, you know, I'm not into people that think those sort of things. I will say that man, in his long move away from the tropics, a long move away from the islands, has, I don't even want to use the word adapted, because if you take a look at humans and their conditions, there's no adaptation to it. Cause and effect. So man has not, someone wrote me one thing about how man has adapted to the foods, and I'm going, wow, right. Not on your life. He still, acid ash foods still have an acid effect in the body and still have the same problems. So you don't get used to chemistry. You don't get used to the acid side of chemistry because you're acidic all the time. Hell no, it'll still burn you back. You know, it's like your good friend while it takes your money or whatever. Hello, Dr. Morse. I really like your videos and would what you do to help people. Thanks. You come join me. Come join me. I am from Albania and have a question about my father. He is 66 years old and his heart problems through the years. Calcification of one valve and heart failure. Is that arrhythmia? Is that what that's supposed to be? And lung and leg edemas. Okay. So when you see edema, first of all, let's go from that backwards. When you see edema, you see swelling. Know that water is the universal solvent. Notice how you get a little water? It's a universal solvent. So when you have water being pulled into areas, what is the body attempting to try to do? And what areas would the body pull water into? And that would be your highly acidic areas, where you have stagnation of lymph. You're going to have edema. And we're going to also see edema throughout the body because of the acidosis and kidney failure. Whenever you see someone's ankle swollen, the first thing we always did, even in the medical world, was kidney failure. Or we see redness all around the ankles and all that, kidney failure. I always used to say that. I don't know why they've gotten away from that. But when you see someone's edemic ankles or swollen ankles, you know immediately the kidneys. You go right to the kidneys. And that's everywhere. It could be congestive heart failure or anything else. If he has congestive heart failure, that means there is some genetics probably, and the lymph system in the heart's been backed up since day one. But wherever you see the lymph system backing up, this is where you have congestive issues, acidic issues. Now, let's go to the heart valve. Why would a valve get calcified? Why would any tissue in the body, the vascular walls, get calcified? You only see calcifications in the presence of acidosis, where you see the leaching of calcium out of the matrix, whether it's connective tissue or bone or whatever, and then when it hits acids, of course, that's what they do. You know, that's why you have bone matrix, phosphorus and what? Calcium. So it just shows you here that your dad is very acidic and been that way, and that he's having kidney problems and kidney filtration problems, and it's backed up all through him. So to fix this problem, you have to first get the kidneys to start filtering. You have to first fix the edemic issue, and the edemic issue is an acidic issue. And the acidic issue would then fall into where? The lymphatic system, and the kidneys control the lymphatic elimination. See, so it all fits right in there perfectly. Calcification of one valve and heart failure. Okay, maybe he has stress too because of the loss of his son from stomach cancer 3 months ago. His son from stomach cancer? No one should ever die from stomach cancer. Wow. Well, I'm sure he's... Well, what would that do to your dad? It would shut his adrenals down. And if you already have kidney problems and you shut your adrenals down even more, you see what I'm saying? Everything gets shut down, shut down, shut down. This world likes to shut you down. And we're not going to let it. Not going to let it. So, doctor gave him antibiotics for what? For what? See, and that's the problem. This is the idiocy of allopathy. We'll just give your dad some antibiotics. For what? And in doing that, you're killing the lymph node bacterium, which then sets up for even greater edema. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you have to understand how the body works here. Where's the bacteria besides the gut? And you're going to go right into the lymph nodes, and why are they there? What's their job in lymph nodes? And again, they deal with acids and breaking down acids, so we don't have such acidic urine. Gave him diuretics, which I would, if I was a doc too, I would have given him a diuretic to get that, but that's kidneys. And blood thinner, and said maybe he needs surgery of the heart. Can you help us with some advice? Can he be cured without surgery, and what to use from your herbs, and for how long, especially what lymphatic and adrenal granular, and for how long? Well, here's the thing. You know, if I gave the... that's why I have a video up for kind of what you would do in different cases, because it's hard for me to give you the total makeup of a protocol for each case here. But it is so cheap to have a counselor here. Just set your feet on the path. It doesn't cost a couple $100. I mean, it's well worth it. If not, I would just get on the get on the 14-week protocol and just add the heart formula somewhere down the line. But the real problem is the lymphatic system. That's giving you the edema, that's giving you the calcifications, that's giving you all these things like that, the lung and leg edema. I mean, your dad's in trouble, there's no question. So he needs to get moving on this. Get him on a fruit diet, fruits, berries, and melons. Since he's not, you could probably give him a salad a day maybe. One doesn't need surgery unless you're at the very end of something or you got an obstruction that's blocking a major flow of something, blood or whatever, nerve. I don't know what all he's dealing with. You can dissolve the calcifications, but in dissolving calcifications, what medium would we be in? An acidic medium or an alkaline medium? An acidic medium creates a cationic environment. Now, a cationic environment would seem like it's an environment of corrosiveness, and then it would rip things apart, because that's what cationics does. But in that process, it dehydrates, burns up electrolytes, and creates agglomulation, stagnation, hardness, stiffness, tightness. So the first order of the day is to get your dad in an alkaline slurry and get an alkaline forming foods and an energetic forming foods that'll open up the vascular system, foods that'll clean the arteries out. Not that they need cleaned, because occlusions come with a thin wall. That's the lymphatic system. So it's a lymphatic system and congestive heart failure and valvular problems and everything else that you need to go after. I submit to you also, I'd be looking at the parathyroid and maybe looking at the bones formula to strengthen maybe the valves. But to strengthen anything in the body, you have to remove the acids that are creating the problem. You have to fix the problem. You can't treat the symptoms. You got to always fix the problem. So, or the cause of the problem. We can't find here organic fruits and vegetables, so he can't do a proper detox. Well, get a veggie wash and wash them. But they're sure a lot better than dead foods. So you get what you can, you do your best with what you can. Not organic, okay, but wash the pesticides and everything off as best you can, because it's better than nothing. It's better than saying, I'm not going to do it because I can't get the food. No! What can he eat? He can eat whatever you can find, in whatever shape you can find it in. I mean, I hate to say that, but there's nothing else we can do, guys. I have some menstrual disorders, loss of my periods about 6 months now, and high prolactin levels. Check your pituitary, honey. I do the same thing. Get my kidneys filtering, get my cleaned up. Look at that pituitary, because if you're not menstruating, I'd be looking at the pituitary, not the ovaries. Could be ovarian, but I doubt it. You got two. So I would be looking at the pituitary, to be quite honest with you. And upper circumbranial nerve, get your lymph moving, get your bowels cleaned up so your sinuses can drain. Start working on all this, and all of that will correct itself. Always does. Also hot, exactly. Yep, because it's probably bumping down on the thyroid and parathyroid, and that being your dad might see some parathyroid issues there as well. So you want to take a look at that. Get everybody's eyes, take a look at the eyes, see what you see. She's 33 and not pregnant. Please help. Thank you very much. And sorry for the bad English. That's okay. I got bad English myself. Okay, so here's subject. My daughter has high BP, that's blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, protein in urine. She, us now, earring, raw, vegan mostly, and SGE, us on Lizaperil. Please help. All right. So this daughter has high blood pressure. So where are we going for that? Kidneys. Now, what if it's a swinging blood pressure? High, low, high, low. Cerebellum, inflammation, acidosis. But high blood pressure, kidneys, right? So now you've got kidneys. So what else, when you have kidneys, would you expect to see? Lymphatic, also adrenal. You would expect that trinity. The kidney, adrenal, and lymphatic problems. You would expect to see that. Well, in comes the high cholesterol. So we are seeing it. We're seeing lymphatic problems, right? Because even though the lymph system is a cholesterol system, when the production of cholesterol is being enhanced, and particularly the LDLs, then you have to take a look at systemic acidosis, which is the kidneys are down. So the high blood pressure shows the kidneys are down, so you're not filtering there. So then that bumps to the lymph system, of course, so that creates acidosis. And since acidosis has to be stopped, then you either have calcification, like in this other gentleman, or you have cholesterol, one of the two. You have a cholesterol buffering system and a calcium buffering system. And when you see those systems initiated, immediately you only have one way to go. Acidosis. Diseases, something flew in from where? Acidosis. Chemistry. So yeah, she's got some problems and you want to work on this. You get on the fruit and berries and melon diets, maybe a salad or something once in a while. You get on your kidney formulas, your lymphatic formulas, you start working this. Because depends her age here. Now, fatty liver. Same problem. Interstitial lymphatic stagnation equals interstitial acidosis, which means interstitial lipids or calcium. So to fix the fatty liver, you have to fix the lymph system. To fix the lymph system, you have to fix the kidneys and adrenal glands. And that's right where she's having all these troubles. See? But you can take any case like this and go back and look at this case and see that this way. Yeah, but protein in the urine. So let's put her on a high protein diet and, no high protein diet. She got protein in the urine. Yeah, that's exactly what you wouldn't do. You would get her totally away from proteins. You'd get her totally into the carbon side. And you get her, excuse me, been detoxing. Get her on fruits, berries, and melons. Yourself or your daughter, and really go after that. But your fruits and your berries and your melons are going to clean the kidneys and going to bring that pressure down. Protein, too much protein. Be interesting to see her BUN, BUN, urea nitrogens. Anything above 4 is too high in BUN. And if you see someone's blood work and you look at their BUN or urea nitrogens, if they're above 7, they're on proteins. Especially up above 10, 11, 12 and up, they're on high protein diet. So what does it tell you? Get away from them. And it should be okay. And everything will be fine there. Look at this. I just want to say thanks for all the help you give everyone. Thank you, honey. This is a 22-year-old male. You know what? We have so many young people here that are suffering. My heart goes out to each and every one of you guys. Each and every one of you. I'm here to help you guys. 22-year-old male farmer. And 2.5 years ago, I injured my chest playing contact sport. I went to the doctor about 3 months later as the injury didn't heal. Aha! Now, injuries, we just talked about that. Injuries, trauma is acidic, right? So what system in your body removes trauma? And that's to the football players and everybody else that's dealing in trauma. Head, doesn't matter where. What system cleans so the body can repair? The lymphatic system. We got to get used to it. The lymphatic system. 80% of interstitial fluid, come on. Blood can't repair. I mean, it can bring the goodies, but the lymph must carry away the acids and the trash from the injury. The cells that are damaged must be taken to the lymph nodes. That's where the macrophages are. Cells that are damaged don't travel the blood like cancer cells. So when you have an injury that doesn't heal, what do? You do just like the guy that parachute didn't open. You're going after regeneration. Well, regeneration isn't under the acidic sky. It's under the alkaline sky. So that's why you have to move to alkaline-forming foods, electrical alkaline-forming foods. And that's your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your vegetables. The doctor got x-rays done and nothing showed up, so he told me that it was something I would probably just have to live with because he can't see the cells with x-ray. And this is the beauty about the iridology, because we could look at that chest wall and probably see a problem there. And that's the thing. X-rays can't see the condition of the cells. Soft tissue analysis. Iridology, soft tissue analysis. We have some goodies. Live with, like take a Pantol or an ibuprofen, if the pain got too much. But this comes from a medical doctor that does not understand the lymphatic system and acidosis. If he did, he would have been able to tell you what to do to fix it. If they understand that the only way you can fix acidosis is by changing the ingestion of chemistry, number one, and getting rid of the acids that are accumulating in the body from a faulty lymph filtration problem, which most people have. I played sport again the next year, taking the Pantol before most games, which never really did anything. At the end of that year, I went back to the doctor, and this time he decided to send me to a chest specialist who told me to take something, as he thought I had a small crack in the cartilage near the the sternum area, joint going off a CT scan I had done. I didn't want to take the Lyrica or whatever, so I went to another specialist who gave me a cortisone injection near the joint, which helped for about 4 weeks, and then lowered your adrenal function, so it can't help you now, that sort of thing, before wearing off and making the pain come back much worse. You know, we've talked about the use of steroid creams, and so many of you young guys and gals have been on steroids because of the skin problems, and just seen it blow back even worse. You can't suppress. You can't suppress. Can't suppress pain. You can't suppress. You got pain, it is a need of elimination. When you have pain, there's something causing the pain. Well, pain falls predominantly under an acid sky. Of course, you could have a splinter or something in you. You see what I'm saying? You have to remove that which is causing the pain. And generally, it's chemistry. Well, then you would invoke the word what? Detoxification. I like to invoke the word regenerative detoxification. But before wearing off and making the pain come back much worse, to the point I could barely get out of a chair. I then went to another specialist who got an MRI done, which showed up that I had heavy inflammation in, there you go. And that's the point. You have heavy inflammation. What is the real word you're looking for? Because they're using the word inflammation. The medical doctors use the word inflammation, but it is simply a natural immune response. What is the chemical problem? Acidosis. That would mean, where does this acidosis come from? The cells in that area that you had trauma with. Not only from a daily cellular activity, but from the trauma itself. You probably never removed the trauma. And that's what I'm saying. That's why you get up on these programs and starts to remove any trauma in areas and starts to rebuild these areas. The only way to do it that I know of. And you can get into all kinds of tonics to rebuild. There's all kinds of neat herbs to rebuild stuff. Cartilage, bone, joint tissue was all inflamed with a small amount of fluid in the joints. And what I'm saying is the trauma that you had never healed. That's because your lymphatic system wasn't filtering then and couldn't clean the mess up. So you have to go back and fix that system so it can clean the mess up here, remove the inflammation or acids, and then it can heal. Make sure your parathyroid is doing good. Check that. You might want to use a little parathyroid and a little bones in the connective tissue formula, to strengthen. They thought it may have been affected, but after getting blood tests done, they were able to rule that out. It's just trauma stuff. It's just acidosis. He got me to have another cortisone injection, but straight into the joint, and gave me exercises to do. It's stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. You got to remove the inflammation. And the kidneys are the doorway, man. or the skin. Once again, we're all, excuse me, dang, I was going through it last night, boy. Ooh, me. Pulling it out, baby. Since then, I have been, see, how did I kick back again? Since then, I have been to one other specialist, a rheumatologist who believes it is still inflamed due to the joint being still in a state of trauma from the initial hit to the chest. Now, this guy's probably more accurate. If he just knew a little more about the lymph system, he could probably finish that up for you and finally say, you know what, your body hasn't been able to remove the trauma from this area, and therefore you're inflamed, and you're going to always be inflamed until you do. Make sense? Right. Joint still in a state of trauma from the initial hit to the chest, or that the initial hit was caused by an early onset of arthritis. And he wants to put me on strong anti-inflammatories, which can have side effects like kidney damage or failure. That your problem is already, because you would be filtering if you didn't have kidney weakness. Once again, I didn't really want to take these, so I am not at the moment. Do you have anything you can recommend? Oh, lots, my dear man, lots. Leon, much. Go fix this up the right way and you're done. This is all that it is. It's as simple as that, my man. You can fix this right up and get all that acid inflammation out of that area. But you want to do that anyway, because it sounds like your kidneys aren't filtering very well. And that could be a problem in the long run everywhere, tumors and everything else. So you kind of want to look at this as a little bit of a blessing. It's a right in your face. I've got to fix it. You keep going to the medical community. But, I will say the rheumatologist was as close as you can get, but he wanted you, that's all they know is anti-inflammatories, which he was right. He was right. But anti-inflammatories have to be antacids. And the problem with pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories is the damage to the kidneys and everything else. You would want to use herbal anti-inflammatories. But wouldn't it be better to fix it? That's what I'm thinking. And fixing it is simply detoxing yourself. And that'll pull this right out of there. You might have a little pain in that area from all you've been doing and from the trauma itself, but that's detox. Pull it out and you'll be done. Use a parathyroid bones connective, I would, on top of a detox protocol. All right, guys, I love you guys. Sorry I'm not doing more videos. I will promise you. There's so many good questions. You guys are loaded with good questions. We all need to hear some of these questions. And so I will make a definite concerted effort next week to, you'll probably get this Monday, and I'll try to do a concerted effort next week to do about 4 or 5 videos and try to get caught up here a little bit. But I had to move, and there's just so many little things going on. Fighting California would like to shut us down. I'd like to shut everybody down. But love you guys, and till we meet again, enjoy your detoxes. If you need to take a break, take a little break. Once in a while, you can take a break. If you've been long-term on herbs, let me say, go to 5 days on, 2 days off, or 6 days on, 1 day off. Give yourself a day or two break a week. Things will be more effective. Sometimes you need to take a break from things. Sometimes things are just too energetic, too strong. You need to take a little break, have some fun. So I love you guys, and we'll see you Monday.